tiempo más allá de la razón, donde un viejo juglar cuenta la historia de que el viento susurró historias sobre un grial. Dicen algunos que vivió Cristo y otros que leyendas son de un pueblo llamado Celta que vida eterna dio. Fuego, magia y pasión, filtros de amor, cuidan de él, acompáñame. Es hora de marchar, saber con sabiduría y fe. Y por oscura que sean las noches y el miedo beba en tu piel, más allá del reino de batallas, fuego, magia y pasión, filtros de amor, cuidan de él. Toma mi mano y sígueme. Necesito creerme por my piel. Tu corazón. Esta fuerza de filtros de amor, cuídame. Toma mi mano y sígueme, te demostraré lo que tu alma no ve. Por equipar que solo llevas de fe. Por escudero el valor siempre te. Si tu viaje nos vamos oscuro de tu corazón, elige bien o jamás volverás del sueño del grial. Nunca desperta. Nunca desperta. quick set, we're also need quick set inline. We just substitute s. Where the fuck is that thingy? Fully. And we set index.css. De hacer el autocorrect, el autocorrect. No, que eso ya, solito. Said good is globally. I'm almost sure that what the fuck includes that CSS command I specs / followed by text. That being stupid, that's going for forward slash. Then escape string for set replacement pattern. For more depth answer. Oh dude, I didn't use. Yeah, whenever you use 7 you need to do like rotations of the limiter real quick. And no, what the hell? Have you ever need to escape the keyword string format? I mean, so you can be super fucking shit, dude. You know, like, here, oh, fuck off. It's an inline offset. You can do it without this stuff. But it now. Inline. Characters that are treated especially in the replace clause are / to close the clause, / to escape characters, back reference, that etc. Ampersand and C, back reference and C, and ampersand to the match in the replacement. Therefore, all you need to do is escape those 3 characters. Dude. Good man said. You said extension, any files in place. If a zero-line extension is given, the backup will be saved. It is not recommended to give a zero-line extension when you place anything files, as you risk corruption or partial content of situations.
La vi cruzar la pista con un feeling de campeona mundial. Cuando invadió en el baile todo el público se paralizó. Yo la tenía al frente cautelosamente quise llegar. Disculpe señorita, solamente le quiero comentar. Señorita, a mí me gusta su style. Señorita, a mí me gusta su style. Cómo camina, cómo baila, por usted yo vendo mi alma. Señorita, a mí me gusta su style. Señorita, really like a your style. Señorita, a mí me gusta su style. Give it up, move it up, everybody chombo. Con permiso, abran paso, llego el aniquilador de push it up. Give it up, everybody chombo. Atención toda la audiencia que ahora viene lo mejor. Llego improvisando, nunca fallando con mis lyrics en el mando, notificando que me gusta su style. Ay, ay, déjeme decirle que você es muy gustosa. Usted es la epidemia que acabó mi corazón. En Río de Janeiro no se fala de otra cosa, que soy un suceso y mi estilo es la sensación. Y todas las mujeres se menean con este swing.
Pero el pinche Kiki no se quiere porque
Originales
y luego
totalmente
se
distintos, Sergeant McLean. Y lo que es en la pista de rabanes para ti que está sonando. No sé qué es que está acabando y
Vamos a aprender
contactando.
poder web
Notifico que me gusta su
servicios que
style.
se en el mundo para
Como es un ritmo que dio otra
poder
gente de Jamaica. Esto es pura plena Freddy que tu Panamá. Hecho con los valientes y a todas las señoritas. Se está preparada, le venimos a tocar. Señorita, a mí me gusta su style. 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 Cómo camina, cómo baila, por usted yo empeño mi alma. Señorita, a mí me gusta su style. Ay, ay. Señorita, really like a your style. Señorita, a mí me gusta su style. Move it up, give it up, everybody chombo. Con permiso, caballero, llegó el aniquilador. Da push it up, give it up, everybody chombo. Repetimos nuevamente ese coro, por favor. Señorita, a mí me gusta su style. Señorita, a mí me gusta su style. Señorita, really like a your style. Señorita, a mí me gusta su style. ¿Cómo lo conseguiste, mami? ¿Cómo lo conseguiste? ¿Cómo lo conseguiste el cuerpo de campeona? ¿Cómo lo conseguiste, mami? ¿Cómo lo conseguiste? ¿Cómo lo conseguiste el cuerpo de campeona? De campeona. Y en la pista tú eres number one. De campeona. Tomaré arrebato contigo, de campeona. Y en la pista tú eres number one. De campeona. Ay, mami, a mí me gusta tu style.
Sí. Lord AI Research. Yo, Facebook.
Dear fellow scholars, this is going to Temas Picada Journal 5. This is going to be a review of a non-traditional episode, not the usual opinion papers. Hope you'll enjoy it, and if you finish the video, please let me know in the comments what you think about it. So let's start. Life lessons I learned from AI research. Number 1, you need an objective. Before we start training the neural network to perform, for instance, image classification, we need a bunch of training data. This we can feed to this neural network, telling that this image depicts a cat, and this one is not a cat, but an ostrich. We also need to specify a loss function. This is super important, because this loss function is used to make sure that the neural network trains itself in a way that its predictions will be similar to the training data it is being fed. It is also referred to as an objective or objective function to indicate that we know precisely what we are looking for, and that's what the neural network should do. This is a way to measure how the neural network is progressing, and without this, it is useless. Similarly, in another learning problem, we can specify an objective for this end, which in this case is to be able to traverse as far from a starting point as possible, and it reconfigures its body type and movement to be able to score high on our objective. And this leads us to the second lesson. A change in the objective changes the strategy required to achieve it. Look here. In a different problem definition, we can specify a different objective. For instance, a different terrain, and you see that if we wish to succeed here, we need a vastly different body type. Form follows function. And in this other case, the objective is to be able to traverse efficiently, but with minimal material use for the legs. The solution, again, changes accordingly to the objective. New objectives require new strategy. Number 3. If the objective was wrong, do not worry and aim again. Have a look at AlphaGo. This is DeepMind's algorithm that was able to defeat some of the best players in the world in the game of Go. This was a highly non-trivial achievement, as the space of possible moves is so stupendously large that it is impossible to evaluate every move. Instead, it tries to aggressively focus on a smaller number of possible moves and tries to simulate the result of these moves. If the move leads to an improvement in our position, it is a good one. If not, it should be avoided. Sounds simple, right? Well, we have an objective, that's great, but initially it has a really bad predictor, which means that it is really bad at judging which move is good and which one isn't. However, over time, it refines its predictor, and these estimations improve further and further. In the end, by only taking a brief look at the state of the game, it can predict with a high confidence whether it is going to win or not. Initially, we have an objective, but how do we know whether it is a good one? Well, we try to get there and then evaluate our position. We may find that we got nowhere with this. What most people do is abort the program, quit the game, give up, it's over. No, don't despair, it's not over. This is the early stage of teaching an AI, and this is the time where we can improve our predictor and pick our next objective more wisely. Over time, you'll find the ideas that don't work, and not only that, you'll find out why they don't work. Do not worry and aim again. And this leads us to lesson number 4. Zoom out and evaluate. This is exactly what DeepMind's amazing DeepQ learning algorithm does that took the world by storm, as it was able to play Atari Breakout on a superhuman level just by looking at the pixels of the game. This algorithm ran in 2 phases, where phase 1 is collecting experiences, and phase 2 was called Experience Replay. This is where the AI stops and reflects upon these experiences. Zooming out and evaluating is immensely important because, after all, this is where the real learning happens. So, every now and then, zoom out and evaluate. And while we are here, I can simply not resist adding 2 more lessons I learned from other scientific disciplines. So, lesson number 5, if you find something that works, hold on to it. This is exactly what Metropolis Light Transport does, which is a light simulation algorithm that is able to create beautiful images even for extremely difficult problems where it is challenging to find where the light is. However, when it finally finds something, it makes sure not to forget about it and explore nearby light paths. It works like a charm for difficult light transport situations and can create absolutely beautiful images for even the hardest virtual scenes. Seek the light and hold on to it. And whenever you feel that you are still not making progress, think about the following. Lesson number 6. As long as you keep moving, you'll keep progressing. Take a look at this random walk. A random walk is a succession of steps in completely random direction. This walk is completely lack of direction, just as a drunkard that tries to find home. However, get this. A mathematical theorem says that after n steps, the expected distance from where we started is proportional to the square root of n. This is huge. What this means is that, for instance, if we took 4 completely random steps, we are expected to be 2 units of distance away from where we started. That's progress. If we take 100 steps, even then, we can expect to be around 10 units of distance away from the starting point. This concept works even if our predictor is completely haywire and we choose our objectives like a drum chord. Now I think that's a lesson worth sharing. To recap, you need an objective. It can be anything, so long as you keep moving, you'll progress. If you have achieved it and it ended up not being what you were looking for, don't stop. Zoom out and reflect. This will help you to improve your predictor and you will be able to recalibrate and aim again at something more meaningful. Now, aim and find a new objective. When you have a new objective, your strategy needs to change to be able to achieve it. Finally, if you find something desirable, hold on to it and explore more in this direction. Seek the light.
So it's gonna have data and OBS plugins, and I just fucking
mathematically
do what I do.
motivated lessons that are worth showing to you. After all, this series is not only meant to inform, but to inspire you to get out there and create. It always feels absolutely amazing getting these kind messages from you fellow scholars. Some of you said that the series has changed your life in a positive way. I am really out of words and I'm honored to be able to make these videos for you fellow scholars. Let me know in the comments whether you enjoyed this episode, and please keep the kind messages coming, they really make my day. Thanks for watching and for your generous support, and I'll see you next time. Dear fellow scholars, this is 2-Minute Papers with Károly Zsolnai Fehér. AI research has come a long way in the last few years.
See, Dr. Skirl is...
Dear fellow scholars, this is 2-Minute Papers with Dr. Károly Zsolnai Fehér. With the increased popularity of online meetings, telepresence applications are on the rise where we can talk to each other from afar. Today, let's see how these powerful, new neural network-based learning methods can be applied. Turns out they can help us do everyone's favorite, which is showing up to a meeting and changing our background to pretend we are somewhere else. That is deceptively difficult. Here, the background has been changed. That is the easier problem. But look, the lighting of the new environment hasn't been applied to the subject. Now, hold on to your papers and check this out. This is the result of the new technique after it recreates the image as if she was really there. I particularly like the fact that the results include high-quality specular highlights too, or, in other words, the environment reflecting off of our. However, of course, this is not the first method attempting this. So let's see how it performs compared to the competition. These techniques are from 2 years ago, and they don't perform so well. Not only did they lose a lot of detail all across the image, but specular highlights are. As a result, the image feels more like a video game character than a real person. Luckily, the authors also have access to the reference information to make our job comparing the results easier. Roughly speaking, the more the outputs look like this. Now, hold on to your papers and see how the new method performs. Oh yes, now we're talking. Now, of course, not even this is perfect. Clearly, the specularity of clothing was determined incorrectly, and the matting around the thinner parts of the hair could be better, which is notoriously difficult to get right. But this is a huge step forward in just one paper. And we are not nearly done. There are 2 more things that are found to be remarkable. One is that the whole method was trained on still images, yet still works on video too. And we don't have apparent temporal coherence issues, or in other words, no flickering arises from the fact that it processes the video not as a video, but a series of separate images. Very cool. 2, we are in a meeting with someone and really like their background, we can simply borrow it. Look, This technique can take their image, get the background out, estimate its lighting, and give the whole package. I think this would be a game changer. People may start to become more selective with these backgrounds, not just because of how the background looks, but because it makes them. Remember, lighting off of a well-chosen background makes a great deal of a difference in our appearance in the real world. Now, with this method, virtual worlds too. This will likely happen not decades from now, but in the near future. So, this new method is clearly capable of some serious matter. What is going on under the hood? This method performs two important steps to proceed. Step number 2 is, in this step, the goal is to estimate the illumination of the new scene and recolor the subject who were really there. This new technique performs both, but most of the contributions lie in. To be able to accomplish this, we have to be able to estimate the material properties of the subject. The technique has to know, one, where the diffuse parts are. These are the parts that don't change too much as the lighting changes. And two, the parts are, in other words, shiny regions that reflect back the environment more clearly. Putting it all together, we get really high quality relighting for ourselves, and given that this was developed by Google, expect that this will supercharge our meetings quite soon. And imagine what we will have 2 more papers down the road. My goodness, what a time to be alive. This video has been supported by Waits and their recent offering, Fully Connected, a place where they bring machine learning practitioners together, share and discuss their ideas, learn from industry leaders, and even collaborate on projects together.
Applications have evolved. Developers have shifted away from building static 3-tier applications and towards distributed services that support more frequent updates. Instead of shipping fully loaded VMs designed to run for a long time, developers are shipping code in slimmed-down containers that are updated often. With Kubernetes helping development teams move quickly, IT has to navigate the ever-changing landscape of containers. But Kubernetes comes with a unique set of challenges. One peek at the cloud-native landscape, it's easy to get overwhelmed. This is where VMware Tanzu Basic comes in. It simplifies the operation of Kubernetes by putting cloud-native constructs at your fingertips as part of vSphere. Tanzu Basic delivers an open-source aligned Kubernetes distribution packaged specifically for the enterprise.
And they release it.
On top of that, it's delivered as part of your existing infrastructure, which makes it easier to modernize existing applications. Now that you know the basics of Tanzu Basic, let's dive into some of the major benefits. We know setting up a Kubernetes environment is tough. Finding people who have the skills to manage it is even tougher. Thankfully, Tanzu Basic removes the complexity of deploying Kubernetes by making it part of your existing vSphere infrastructure, and includes the critical components you need to get up and running in no time. By embedding Kubernetes in the vSphere control plane, an IT operator can manage Kubernetes resources using the vCenter console with the same familiar tools and processes already used to provision teams. This means you can reduce capital and operational expenses by having a single shared stack of infrastructure operated by an efficient team of vSphere administrators, without the need to completely retool or retrain your IT staff. And what if your dev teams could use Kubernetes APIs to quickly deploy clusters directly to vSphere? Well, with Tanzu Basic, you can. It gives developers self-service access to resources and environments while maintaining policy and security controls to meet IT requirements. The developers have secure self-service access to fully compliant and conforming Kubernetes and can use Kubernetes APIs against vSphere. This resources without an IT ticket. Best of all, Tanzu Basic is built on an open source aligned Kubernetes distribution, conveniently packaged to make it a lot easier to adopt open source projects and their capabilities into applications. These open source technologies include Cluster API for lifecycle management, Harbor for an image registry, FluentBit for monitoring, as well as Antria for container-to-container networking. And because VMware is a top contributor to open source, you can tap into the full innovation, expertise, and energy of the Kubernetes community. Your organization is ready to embrace containers today from within the comfort of your vSphere environment. Check out our website to learn more about Tanzu Basic Edition or any of the other Tanzu editions designed to meet you wherever you are in your app modernization journey.
Tonight, I'll be eating fried avocado.
Gonna have myself feel good.
Hi, I'm Jason News, and this is the more detailed version of the previous video
Inside
containing
out,
Kubernetes
yeah.
and Tanzu. So in this version of the video, we're going to go into a bit more detail, and I'm going to explain the steps and blocks of. So
I'm having a good time.
the previous video, the simple version, we have this red blip hardware. Just to spell things out a bit more, what was hardware is the physical hardware or server for application. This might be something like a Dell, HP, Lenovo, Cisco, or Supermarket, along those lines. It's the physical box of. Next, we've got on top is the operating system or OS. The operating system, typically something like Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, is the thing that the before we can run the application, some applications are things called libraries or dependencies. So maybe things like Java or .NET framework or that's not the actual application itself, it's just something it's